Man, it feels like forever.
It's been a while.
So, side note. Did you see there's a variant supposedly in California? It isn't picked up on tests, and you don't show symptoms.
So do you really have it?
Like,
how do you know?
How do you know they're sick? Like,
that's terrible.
Ricky, are you feeling ill today?
I'm feeling like I got the variant.
Here, take this test. Oh, you must have COVID!
Well, and that's my luck, too. I wouldn't be able to get the average run-of-the-mill stuff. I'd get the extra special.
We can't tell if it's still here, if you're still sick, if,
What scares the shit out of me is the fact that not getting sick, the losing your taste. And some of the people that are getting sick...
There's no symptoms.
No. the one now where it's killing the
average
taste.
Like
that's
the not so famous COVID.
I like food a lot. I'm like a fat kid in a little guy's body.
I told you when I was chewing that gum, and then I went to drink like a sip of my pop, and I couldn't taste it. I'm like,
oh no!
Well, the whole time, like my throat was sore and shit. Like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try this. Okay, I can taste it. All right. What about this? Maybe if I try this, like, can I taste
How many
this?
things do I just need to like start tasting now?
I went to the hot sauces and it was like, all right, still, but okay, yep. Oh, that one burns.
Troy brought some jerky in, and it's
spicy.
Above ghost pepper.
Oh no!
One of the techs took 4 pieces, went hump.
Yeah.
Sweating and tears, and he's. Even Josh took a bite of that, and he's like, it's not really bad tasting. About a minute later, he's like, oh! I want a piece. Well, we threw it away now, but kangaroo jerky. So anyway.
You threw it away?
It was like sitting out for 4 days, man.
You didn't put it away?
Let it go, man. Let it go.
I can't.
Let it go!
Oh, no. 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 I'm
not even jumping in on that.
We are not ready for the Disney episode yet.
We are not.
Remember, folks, if it ain't weird, it ain't here. We are the Weird Boys.
We are 100% professionals.
Try to be the first one in the building.
Ooh, something haunted. Let me go.
Look at that creepy thing over there. Let's go find it.
Did something move over there? Yep. Well, we're going that way. It's kind of our thing.
I'm Ryan. I am joined by Kyle Lefty Beard.
Well, you can go have fun with that, sir. Before you guys went out, I decided to do a little bit of research at failure.
And Ricky, master of all things horror Bosma.
I know a few things.
So, boys.
What would you like to talk about?
So we're all kind of back in the studio again, kind of excited because we've picked up a few subscribers since our shout out on Tim Pool.
Yep.
So welcome to all of you. We've picked up 2 sponsors, which is pretty exciting for us. So check them out. We have Hunt a Killer and Instacart. Check out our Facebook page, Instagram, TikTok.
Spotify.
All of them, Spotify, YouTube.
Wherever you may find us.
Wherever you find us, stay weird. So, boys.
Yeah.
We're sitting back today. It's kind of relaxing. Just excited to get back into the studio, and we figured with all the new people who kind of didn't know us, we'd do a little bit about us.
All right, everybody out there listening, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ricky Bosma, general run-of-the-mill average guy. Just have some pretty weird hobbies, and this being one of them. Family man, just do the 9 to 5, and this is kind of my secondary passion. It doesn't matter if it's horror movies, aliens, cryptos, conspiracy. If it's weird, it's me.
And I'm the one they call Lefty. That's a whole other story on how we got there. But, anyways, I kind of came about all this stuff because I kind of came about this whole thing listening to these guys talking at work nonstop about serial killers, Ricky's ghost stories and cemetery adventures and just the upbringings and
Fun for the whole family.
yeah, oh, yeah, all the witch stuff and honestly, like I was always open to it, but I never knew anybody that was open and willing to talk about it just as freely as these guys.
Well, there's opening the box, and then there's Ricky.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of went to I jumped over the beginning phase and went, oh, there's a rabbit hole.
That box.
Oh, that's
is
a deep hole.
never going to close.
So, anyways, hey, I'm having a good time. Like I'm still skeptical about a lot of stuff,
Right.
but
you will
at the
be.
same time, there's even more things that I've just kind of.
Till we end up in Felt Mansion and you see a melon head run by you, and I'm a believer now.
Yeah,
Yeah, everybody's
Yes,
a skeptic,
exactly.
man. But,
Well, you gotta be.
yes.
I mean, if you approach every story and everything with 100% belief, then you're gonna go insane.
yeah, even if you're a believer, you still have to keep some sort of skepticism to it because you never know who's pulling your leg or...
Who wants their 15 minutes of fame?
Exactly.
Right.
But see, I'm also the guy that like I didn't really know a whole lot about serial killers or even have an interest in it until all of a sudden you guys started talking about it. I'm like, okay, that's really messed up. Like I can't believe he got away with it for how long? Like,
Right.
and I started looking into it and found like there's a lot of cool ones out there and all the disappearances and the odd phenomenon and
Yes, there are weirder people out there than us.
Hard to believe. Hard to believe. See, and I was the same way. I came up with a military law enforcement background, and I was hearing all these true crime podcasts, and I'm like, oh yeah, they'd be fun to check out, but I never really could get hooked. And obviously, I found Last Podcast and all of them, and this, that, the other, and the way they presented it was really interesting. And then once it was like, oh, these two guys I've been working with for the past year enjoy this kind of thing too. We
It's
can
the
just
adrenaline
sit
rush.
and talk for hours. And I mean, that first day, man, we sat for probably that entire 6 hours just talking bullshit.
Not on the clock, of course.
although when we were on break doing this and we actually attracted a crowd, that was pretty fun.
Right. Well, and that to me was that,
The confirmation, like people actually want to.
why don't we just sit down and record? Like, and we had brought up, man, I just want to sit down and record this for my own purposes. And I'm like, let's do it, man.
Yeah.
And so that's how we kind of pushed here. But I've seen the ghost stories, and I'm like, I always had that question in the back of that mind, my itch. But again, no one to ever go with, no one ever, like, that really knew where these things were. And I'm like, oh, you always see, down in Nevada, there's a ghost story. Oh, well, I'm never going to be able to go see that.
But there's 65 pages of
Yeah.
Michigan haunted stories.
More than 65,
Conservatively.
allegedly. But, yeah, once you open that door to go, okay, what is in the paranormal world? What is in the conspiracy world? Like me, I've always followed conspiracies because I love those stories. I'm like,
Right.
whether I believe them or not, like, man, the way that these people can connect dots and this, that, the other, and they find this information, like, where do you guys get this, man?
For me, it's their ability to be able to give you an instant answer.
Oh yeah,
Like right now. Any question you ask, they have already thought it out and answered it 17
It's-
different ways.
it's well written, it's well researched, quote unquote.
It's very well BS'd.
However, but it's again the layers to it.
Right.
It takes a while to almost debunk a conspiracy. Now, obviously, the big one being NWO or 9/11 for relative to us. When you start seeing, oh yeah, truthers, again, quote unquote, and you sit there and you're like, oh man, I can't really get behind that one. But then again, you see the amount of scientists they contact, the amount that they put into it. There is a lot of research that goes behind it,
Yeah.
and connections to people and the whole community. I mean, it's.
For me, it's all about the passion.
Oh yeah.
And even if they're all absolutely insane, the amount of time that they put into these things to research and to try and educate themselves, that alone impresses me.
Yeah. kudos. I mean, kudos for
Yeah.
bettering yourself, whether
Right.
it's down the wrong hole or cryptids.
Boy.
You hear Bigfoot, Nessie.
Yeah.
Past that, I mean, I don't know.
And then
I didn't know any.
And then
Yeah.
suddenly I learned about melon heads that are,
Melonheads, Dogman. Would you like? Oh, werewolf? Oh no,
No.
do not call a Dogman a werewolf.
Much
Right.
closer to the skinwalker.
Skinwalker. I
didn't
mean,
know what a skinwalker was either.
and then of course our favorite Skinwalker Ranch, and that storyline opens up, and it's just that light shines down from the clouds, and man, you just, I mean, again, sitting and doing my first little bit of research, I'm like, all right, I'll hit up Wikipedia. There can't be that much.
Oh.
And 12 hours later, I have 20 binders full of just Wikipedia
You
information.
have that balance, like really.
But again, those binders are just lists of conspiracy theories, cryptids, and this, that, the other. They don't even go into any of them. I think NWO and Templar history go a little bit deeper, but they're just lists, and those binders are almost full.
Well, that's what that source is supposed to do for you. Is just give you a starting point. Because you're going to find your own rabbit hole. Guaranteed.
Oh, and then what really started impassioning me is the way that they interconnect each other, and this, that, the other leads to this, that, the other, and X leads to Y. I mean, it is ridiculous, but it's also like, man, I want to uncover that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Whether I believe it or not, I want to see where that leads, man.
It's about the adventure. It's about the adrenaline rush. That's why I do these things.
Oh yeah. Well, and then when we went to Seven Gables again.
Oh, yeah.
I was like shaking with anticipation. It was like, man, I can't wait to see this thing. We get there, we have an awesome time, and now, like, man, we got to go
We're
find
itching
the
to go
next
again.
one.
Right.
Like,
You know, and that's the thing about with some of these urban legends and whatnots. You know, I've been hearing it for years about Seven Gables.
right,
We finally made it there.
right,
Like, that's huge for me. Because that's a place that has been on my list for years.
right.
Now, did we see the whole magic show like we wanted? Probably not. But then again, you're not always going to see the A game.
Well, and if
Besides the tree falling and
Right.
but if every researcher went out once and was like, man, I didn't see anything, and gave up, our community would be nothing.
Right.
Like, oh man, you know what? Didn't see anything. I guess none of it's real.
well, I mean, look at it. Researchers in like the Amazon rainforest and all that, they station themselves out there for years at a time
Oh yeah.
to
And-
just research some small little bug.
Yeah, you could be there for 20 years. And then on that 20 year and one day might be the day that you see that unexplained animal that hasn't been documented yet.
right.
You know, it's the same situation with these ones.
It takes one thing
Yes.
to make you hit big.
Right time, right place, right time. You know?
And I mean, same with UFOs. Like
Same
UFOs,
deal.
I've always been okay. Yeah, they're out there, unexplained, blah blah blah. But like,
When they flash a field,
then again, you open that door, you open that gateway, you start hearing about Philadelphia experiment.
Right.
Everybody knows Roswell, but then again, you go back to Skinwalker Ranch, all these other ones,
Battle of L.A.
Battle of L.A.
dude, they've been having a lot.
Blind
of
Frog Ranch?
UFO
Oh, yeah.
sightings this year already.
Which, quick update, Ricky has found a new toy.
which is in the same area as Skinwalker Ranch. So this is a very feasible trip where we could do both at the same time.
You know what? I'm just gonna say we're gonna do it. Like
I'm in.
100 episodes.
Yeah.
I'm penciling. I'm not even penciling. I'm writing that in pen.
Yep.
We're going.
Too.
Blind Frog Ranch.
/
Ranch.
Skinwalker.
They're right next to each other.
So, all you listeners out there, you know, be prepared. So we're going. I'm. There's no way I'm not doing it now.
You have to, man. Like these are the holy grails of things of this nature.
And again, if it's just camping / whatever trip that we go out there and have a good time, man, that experience alone
It's the adventure.
is gonna be amazing. But before that, I mean, there's thousands of places, and it's funny because each time we mention a place, we want to go local in Michigan. I mean, 2 hours later, we're still writing a list like, man, there's too many stories for like what we're going to hit on.
Right.
You open up Detroit, you open up Allegan. I mean, man.
Absolutely.
And so anybody that's just starting off in this field, a simple Google search of your area.
Do your local hometown.
Is going to blow your mind. You're doing it right now, aren't you?
Doing what?
On Google looking for local.
No.
I mean, and like, since we've connected to 2 more YouTube channels, since we've started.
Yeah, we're a
that
few
are
months
local.
in.
And you're like, man, let's meet up. Let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, yeah, let's do it. No, like, no. Let's do it. Like,
and that's the great thing about our community and the people that listen to the things that we, talk about. You will be surprised how honestly and genuinely friendly these people are.
Yeah, because we're not trying to steal each other's thunder.
No.
We're not trying to, like, oh, you're going to hit it big before I do. Like, you're here to share the experience. You're here to share your research, help each other grow. And, like, if nothing else, man, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
You got to have more positivity in the world right now. Everything is, I mean, we're not going to really go into any of the modern conspiracies or anything else, but, man.
The world is messed up.
We are ripping each other apart. So, not necessarily top 5 for all of us, but, like, if you had to pick either that one moment that, like, solidified you in this area, or, like, again, your shining holy grail story, what would you say that is, Rick?
For me, I would think Skinwalker Ranch, because there's so many different phenomenons there. It's not just one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little bit further away, but as far as me, I like the local ones.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the Ada Witch. I want to see, Hatchet Man from Hatchet Man Road. Like, these are the things I want to see. So it's a lot of the local ones that I'm interested in right now, because I know eventually we'll branch out and do the other ones, but these ones are accessible to us, I think.
Right.
The Melonheads, the Dog Man, all local.
See, I definitely want to go to see the Seven Gables, because I missed out on that trip, and I'm...
Well, I've got good news for you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Rick and I kind of talked, and we think we're going to do an annual Seven Gables trip.
Okay. I'm
Kind of
down.
make
Absolutely.
that our, hey, we're going to go out and whatever.
Wander around.
Right, we've explored some of it. There's plenty more to explore, so
Better yet,
kind of
we
familiar with it.
Let's go out there.
Well,
See what
you
we
have
can
to go at a
provoke.
specific time of year.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I found some today, like, again, you got me started going down so many roads when you're looking at these things, and, like, there are so many different top 10 videos out there for, like, top 10 most haunted Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
We get
And-
that dude with the really annoying voice.
Well, some of them are robots, some of them are this, that, the other.
Oh,
But
no, it was not a robot. I think so, yeah.
Does he talk like this?
Yeah. Oh, God. That was...
Oh, yeah, that's going to get deleted, but still.
I couldn't... I was trying so hard to sit through that, and I'm like, I'm interested in what you're saying, but I hate your soul,
Whenever you
dude.
get a chance, ask Ricky to do that voice for you on the mic, dude. He's the spitting image of him.
Oh, God. That's scary.
And, I mean, a quick Google search obviously pops all those up, too. So it's hard to pick down, like, well, these guys' top 10s.
Yeah.
When you're like, that story's cool,
Right.
but, like, how many asylum Men in Black coming after me again. How many insane asylums, like, do you hear about? And then you're like, oh, that sounds so much cooler.
Yeah.
Or, again, it's a person-to-person basis, because just because it's something we would find that's like, oh, man, this is going to be the coolest thing.
Personal preference.
Personal preference. Because it might not sound believable. It might be too overwhelming for you. Like, there is too much of a good thing in our genre.
Yeah.
Like, too much proof. Which lately, if everybody hasn't heard, which I'm sure all of you have, the last bill for COVID got a little piece of paper slipped in there for the Pentagon at 180 days, and this is, I don't even know how many days ago now, to unclassify and release all documentation they have on UFOs.
Give me the juice.
So, obviously, there's a lot of us just kind of freaking out, going, oh man, here it comes. Now, me personally, I'm expecting a 5-page document to go up. Here you go. This is all we've got.
Lots of blacked out letters and words and
Redacted, everything,
Yep.
like, which, again, is always funny, and we've talked about many times. Quit covering it up. Just tell us we don't know what it is or whatever else, because the more you try to hide it, the more we dig. Because obviously Nimitz and everything else, like 65,000 a day sightings.
yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
That's a lot of people drinking the Kool-Aid.
The latest report was 65% of Americans are now believing in hauntings, UFOs.
Right.
65%. Now, granted, it exists.
I mean, it did go up like 35% during COVID.
Exactly. So, are you getting that lockdown shutters, or
Well, you got to look at it like this.
do you have time to do your research?
If you're being told on a daily basis that there's something that you cannot see, you cannot tell, that will kill you, it starts to make you question a few things.
Right. And we had a nice little chat with one of my really good friends, Jordan, who's a principal at a local school. And the church's view on these things has opened up quite.
It has to.
And one of the theories we had talked about was people in purgatory could be the spirits that would be reaching out, which, I mean, Kyle and I both just stopped and went, man, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, whether you're religious or not goes into the thing, but I think that's one of the other great aspects of the paranormal and everything else is when you go past just a ghost story and you go into the what are ghosts, what are cryptids, where did they come from, where do UFOs come from,
Why can some people see them? Why can some people not?
and you get into the life theories, which is, are you in the Matrix, are they alternate universe, and you get, I think it's still classified pseudoscience, but at the same time it's not, like,
Yeah.
it's that in between, because theory of the universe is a theory of the universe, man. Like, that's what it is, and we'll probably never know. I mean, I really don't think in our lifetime.
I don't know if I want to know.
Yeah. For me, it is that leaving it unexplained. Because if you know, you have that could be disappointing, or could be not so not so nice
Like,
as we thought it was.
It's going to be life-changing one way or another.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Obviously.
yeah. I mean, either you're going to better your life to try and make changes to help give you a better position, or you're just going to roll the dice.
Yeah, and but sticking with some other local or recent news, 2 scientists in Canada and a few from Harvard and 2 other countries have come out supporting the scientist from Israel and backing his story.
Yeah.
So to me, one guy, okay, maybe he's obviously there is a link between intelligence and eventually kind of going insane.
Yeah.
But when your story starts getting backed by people around the world, man, I gotta lean back towards he's not psycho.
Yeah. It's just hard for me to get behind anything that says Harvard involved there.
You know,
You know?
some people. Hey, some people like state. I mean,
It's not about the college itself. It's the stigma that if you go to this place, then you obviously are correct.
well, I say Harvard more is because they are a renowned school. Like a scientist from Harvard, like they do hold weight. Like
I mean, if I was a janitor at Harvard, would that make me a smart man?
no, but and we're talking scientists from Harvard, sir. Well, what school is Goodwill Goodwill Hunting?
Real hunting.
How about Tim Apples?
All right.
But again, that's kind of some of the again different things we're going to talk about on future episodes: cryptids, life theories, our thoughts and feelings on just most of these stories. We're going to try not to bore everybody with just straight regurgitation of everyone's accountings and this, that, the other.
No, we want to get you guys excited enough for you guys to plan your own adventures, even to go out and see what you see. You know,
And at the same time, tell you our stories too.
right?
Jinx.
I'm excited about our new sponsors.
Yeah. We were kind of rummaging through earlier. We got a Hunt-A-Killer Blair Witch. They're starting to kind of dive into some of the horror stories. And as soon as I saw that, I jumped on it.
Yeah.
And we're going to definitely go through that box and do it on air as best we can with what we're allowed and everything else.
Right.
Because obviously, if you guys do that kind of thing, we don't want to give and spoil it for everybody else. But at the same time, I think the whole group can get together and chime in and whatnot. If we can get on some kind of live chat or something like that too, I think that would be really awesome to do with everybody.
Yeah. Get our fans out there. Get their input.
Yeah. And we've kind of talked about that before too, about doing kind of a murder mystery unexplained at the end of an episode or something like that. Where, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Where did the cops mess up, or where do you think we messed up?
Yeah, definitely let us know if that's something you guys might be interested in. We'll be more than happy to try and put something together for you guys.
Yeah, you can always comment on the video or message us on Facebook.
Yep.
Anything, or we even have email, which I'll make sure to put in the link below. But back to the main aspect of kind of what we focus on, and hauntings. Now, this is something that, like, you put a lot of time into.
Yeah. That's actually what started me going down the whole paranormal road and everything in the first place, was my curiosity into hauntings. Not necessarily ghost stories, but just all types, like unexplained phenomenon.
Now, is it a specific type, or that anything...
No, if it goes bump in the night, I want to know.
Which then...
Oh, thank you.
I mean, all roads kind of also, as much as all roads lead to Skinwalker Ranch, all roads eventually also lead to, like, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yes.
And I had never heard about them until Annabelle and all those came out. And then, again, you're like, those are based on real people. And I'm like, what?
Right.
Tell me more.
Now, we're not saying they're true stories. Not at all. But what we are saying, those are true accounts from some people. From a real person.
And, again, the amount of their involvement, I can't even find.
You're talking thousands of cases.
And as we go down them, like...
There'll be people out there that say they're charlatans. And there'll be also other people on the other side that'll say, no, this is an honest, legit thing that they were doing to help communities.
Which is kind of our thing, too. Like, if it helps somebody, truly helps somebody.
Yeah.
Why does it matter?
Yeah, who am I to say what's truth and what's not truth, as long as it helps you move on, get past certain things in your life, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, because even if it was like a trick of the mind or, whatever, if it helped, it helped.
Right. I mean, who am I to say if you sit here and smell lavender or lemon, that's and that puts you at peace that that's not a real thing.
Right.
Obviously to you it is. It's all about your faith and your belief in what you're doing.
Or even hypnosis.
Yep.
I've heard parts and aspects of the stories get debunked, but I don't think I've ever seen someone go through and take majority of their cases and be able to smack them down.
No, because there's always going to be people saying, that they're phonies, or that, and to the other side, there's always going to be people saying it's real. But the thing about them is they may have profited from some of those things, but it was much later on in their career.
Right.
So when they first started doing these things, they weren't making anything off of these things. They weren't going to the news to try and get their name out there. They were going to the news to help get the help for the people.
Right.
The people that were in these situations.
Well, and I watched that special from Ed and Lorraine on Amazon the other day, and Kyle and I went through it, and you're like, again, they went multiple times to try to go into court to try to get their day, and I would say Ed very much had a jaded look on everything that would happen. Like, a haunting is demonic, is period.
But to the other side of that, he is also the only one that's ever had a successful defense,
right,
using the paranormal.
And what's weird to me is, again, the church backs him.
Yeah.
Now, say what you will about the church, but that's still a main structure of society that, man, what they say goes in a lot of circles.
Yeah, do they interact with him the way they do because they fear him putting their church on blast or things like that? Or do they honestly, truly believe that they can help these people? It's hard to say.
Or, again, is it a tool that he can go and investigate and call BS when, or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the church, as we know, does go out and investigate things.
Yes.
If they feel there's enough reason for it. So, I mean, they're looking for proof just as much as everyone else is.
Right.
So they're going to set this guy who spent a majority of his life investigating these things.
Mm-hmm.
And if he says, hey, I think we got something here, they're going to listen.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on some of the most intriguing cases when it comes to possessions and exorcisms and things like that. So, I mean, he did have credibility at that time.
But not every possession or haunting is necessarily demonic.
No, they're good spirits, they're bad spirits, there's
Spirits that don't even care.
spirits that don't even know.
We've kind of found and boiled down that there's intelligent, which is you can interact, and obviously Rick, being the master of horror, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
There's your traditional,
Yep.
which is footsteps, scrapes, sounds.
Generally, they classify those under residual.
Where the butt head slept in the ends of the beds.
Yeah.
Poltergeist.
Yes. Residual.
Residual, which is the loops.
Or it could be as simple as the footsteps could be residual.
Yeah, you don't know if.
Yeah, because it's just all that is the repetitive motion of.
And then an actual apparition.
Yeah.
And we had uncovered a few that kind of try to classify them more, or break them into subcategories, or this, that, the other. And we had a pretty long discussion of why.
Right.
Because
in all honesty, many of these overlap.
Yeah.
Residual could be a traditional, or it could be demonic, or it could be. It's all about. I can't really say it's about how you look at it, because you're gonna have these people that claim to be professionals. They're gonna come in and say, "Oh, this is this, this is this." It's not always that black and white.
Well, and say we had an apparition walk across the room. Somebody's going to come in and say it's a traditional. Somebody's going to come in and say it's residual.
Yeah.
And you might even see something different than I do. Kyle might not see it. Somebody might come in, see something or different, and they're like, "Oh well, if you saw
Kyle's
something."
eyes would be closed.
Fair enough.
Halfway there already, sir.
Shut
Somebody's gonna say, "Oh, it's intelligent. It's this, that, the other. Try interacting with it," and it might not be. You don't know because it's not the same as when you were. When it first happened.
Right.
Obviously, the more data you collect, the more and more whatever else.
You
But
stare at it until it goes away.
you're not supposed to look them in the face, Kyle. That's
No,
how they get it, buddy.
No, you just stare at it. Don't look at it.
Through.
But if it's intelligent, then it can interact with you, sir.
Sucks to suck.
The more you know.
So go back to bed. Got it.
There's a video today about this. The chick turns off the light and something pops up behind her. So she runs into the corner, turns off the light. It pops up behind her. She gets under the covers and pulls it over her head. And the guy goes, "Oh man, I can't get her anymore."
If only it works that way.
We've had that talk. It could. You put enough faith behind something and you believe enough and strong enough in something. Why does a quartz rock work? Because enough people put enough faith behind it to say it works.
Right. Having too much faith is just as bad as having too much fear.
But having two dogs landing on me while I was under the covers proves there's not too much things that are going to protect me.
Were they the dogs?
Yeah.
Was it something else?
I mean, if something else was licking my face and turned into my dog afterwards, I would really not be here.
It could be a
Theoretically,
ghost
that
dog.
can happen, sir.
I would be gone.
Goes back to the old urban legend. People can lick too.
Gross.
You have to talk to me about that one sometime. I don't know if I know that one.
Oh, it's basically just your average teenage horror story. The girl is home alone. She keeps hearing these noises. Her dog generally lays under her bed and licks her hand to keep her calm. Well, come to find out, somebody murders her dog, and it's a man underneath there licking her hand. Like, it's...
Well,
Yeah.
well, and see that is the other side that I love about ghost stories, hauntings, is the urban legends and things that pop up behind them, and then the creepypastas. I mean, you get real good people out there that maybe wouldn't necessarily have had their chance to actually write or aren't comfortable releasing their works. You get a fan fiction site or something like that, and boom, you get to see the world, man.
Right.
But sometimes they go too far, like Slenderman.
Yeah.
Urban legends turn real quick into, what was that? You get too good of a writer, like something else we may have fallen into.
Yeah, you get it, these guys that go, and then now you have these fans that are reacting to the story that you put out there.
Right.
And using it as defenses to commit heinous crimes, or,
Or you obviously get some people that can't necessarily tell the difference between fiction and reality, or don't know.
right.
that
I mean,
they're
you
on
can't
that
blame
kind
the
of
writer for that.
Right.
It's all on how the fan reacts to it. If they have a mental illness or whatever the case may be, it isn't going to matter what they're reading.
But I mean, they turn in again. It's a whole nother community
Yeah.
grouping that just they come together. They write these fan fictions, kind of like something else that we stumbled across, completely dumbfounded us, that we didn't even know about, which Kyle found.
Stumbled upon
Stumbled upon.
through a TikTok. So, the only one I can remember right now is SCP-999, also known as the Tickle Monster.
Actually.
And that's the one that originally attracted you.
No. The one that really originally attracted me was the one that was buried underneath the ocean. Which,
Leviathan.
But
yeah.
we were sitting at work, about to do plan a whole research dig.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden, you uncovered SCP Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And we sat, how had we never heard about what?
We even found a website for it.
I mean, But again, the depth that went, we're like, this thing's so far spread. You said it's on Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
It's there's a video game
there's
for it.
video games for it, but then it also decided to dive down to poop face monster,
Well,
SCP.
I said some stories are really good.
There are some things on there that made me question it.
But, like, we honestly sat for quite a while questioning whether it was a conspiracy theory
Right.
or,
Yeah.
like,
And we dove and dove and dove until all of a sudden somebody was like, oh yeah, it's actually a video game. And then we looked more into it and realized what it was. But I mean, then again, some of them in there, it's like, okay, somebody had to come up with this somehow.
right.
And either A, you're a really good storyteller, or B, something like that actually happened to you.
Right. But that's the same way with creepypastas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the lightning flash one.
Yes.
Or Momo.
Yeah. Like,
That one freaked me out.
again, like, 100% made up? Possibly. Frankenstein and Dracula are allegedly 100% made up, but at the same time,
But
they have enough science and history behind them. There could have been something real.
yeah, I mean, it's stories that are taking some sort of truth from somewhere
Right.
and twisting it into something else.
But that's all urban legends.
Yeah, that's why I'm such a big fan, is because there's always some truth to somewhere, to where it started, from wherever it started.
Which, if you haven't heard of Lore,
Yeah.
that started off as a podcast that Amazon picked up. Oh, man. It's good.
Yeah.
It is good. And it's that, starts off with that little bit of history, shows the, let's call them, fantasy side of it,
Yep.
and then shows you the links to the two. And, oh man, it's so good.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, we're gonna pull you out of your shell today, man.
Sweet.
There's gotta be something that spark, like, besides just listening to Ricky and I talk. Because obviously we could do that for lots.
Several hours?
Well, I mean, honestly, a lot of it kind of boils all the way back to when I was camping, and we had this great big huge rock quarry that I used to walk to, and I was a huge rock nut, so loved going out there.
Did you smell what it was cooking?
Sorry. Anyways, anytime I'd go out there, like it always feel like something was watching me, and it was always like a game that I would play when I was a kid. Well, when I got older and I still felt the same thing, I mean, nothing ever bugged me. Every once in a while, it would creep me out to the point where I didn't want to go out there, so I would stay back at the camper. I didn't know if it was ever a warning or if it was, I shouldn't be around there, whatever. But then hearing you guys talk about all these different things that can happen out in the forest, it all kind of started to make sense.
Well, and I've always also found interesting, like, when you get those kind of feelings, or like, when you go through the, let's call them muggle, mundane people, whatever you want to call ordinary. If you go about it that mindset, and you're thinking, man, I'm going insane. I feel like I can feel the woods, or I feel like I'm out here, or, man, I swear there's something. Like, people do look at you like you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you start opening information on the occult or ghost stories or this, that, the other, you're like, oh. So again, it kind of just, I wouldn't say normalizes you, but it brings that kind of understanding and peace to yourself. That like, all right, maybe I'm not a schizophrenic out there that like going
But see,
insane.
that's just it. Is it because you spend so much time trying to rationalize it that you actually start to make yourself
Right.
lose, contact with reality,
But if you went around and like, I thought I saw a ghost, and you rationalize it away, but you're actually in a haunting.
Yeah.
You never did any research on it. I could see where, oh yeah, man, you're gonna drive yourself insane. But then like, one person steps out and says, I think this is what it is. Like, you could pull yourself back into this. I'm not crazy. I don't know if it's a haunting, but like,
Never be afraid to tell your story.
right.
Because even if you tell your story to 1,000 people, it's only going to take one person that might be able to help you out.
And that's with everything. It's like that one person who will listen to that person might pull you off the edge of anything
Mhm.
and bring you to a community of being able to help you or cleanse your house. Now, let's say again, you think you have haunting because eventually somebody listened to you or whatever. Maybe that person helps you, teaches you how to cleanse your house. Okay, so maybe whatever was in the back of your mind goes away now because you put that little bit of faith or belief into the cleansing of the house. Boom. Helped you out, didn't it? So if everybody else says, oh, man, you're insane. You never saw anything. Does it matter anymore? It's gone, isn't it?
Right.
Boom. And
See, I literally had a crazy old neighbor across the street where his wife was actually schizophrenic. They're really old. Well, he came over one day with a box, little wooden box, and came over one day and he had like this little wooden box, and he said that in it was these salamanders, but they were these great big huge long black demon salamanders that were scaring his wife. And he handed us this box and he's like, just keep it. He's like, I didn't do anything to it. I just told her that I went around and I caught all of them and I put them in the box, and she believed it. Took it, and all of a sudden she could sleep. She wasn't scared to sit in her room by herself because he'd caught all the salamanders and put them in this box.
The peace of mind.
And I mean, obviously, there's going to be psychologists that say don't feed into the paranoia or anything else. But at the same time, if you can relax a little bit of that paranoia,
Did they graduate from Harvard?
gonna be stuck on that, are you? I mean, it's in my mind, real science. They might have ways to reach an answer. So do we.
Mm-hmm.
But anybody who tells you they 100% have the facts or 100% know X, Y, and Z. No. That's not science.
Yep.
Real science. I mean, even your quote-unquote real science. They never fully have an answer. It's always evolving. It's always doing this.
Right.
As more data comes in, your opinions might change. I mean, again, that's why we love this, because you're never going to be able to explain it.
Right. For every 10 people that tells me the things that I've seen and the things that I look for aren't real, there's going to be 40 people that have seen similar things.
Right.
So.
And more passionate.
Oh, yeah.
Like.
It's easy to sit back and just discredit people.
Yeah.
That's the easy part.
And train of thought getting derailed. People talking 40 stories.
Oh, it's the 40 to 1,
Well, anybody. So if you're trying to rationalize it, you come to me with a story. Man, I saw this. My bookshelf fell over. Whatever else. I think part of that trying to rationalize it is also us trying to get that control of the unknown.
Right.
I'm going to try to overcome my fear by explaining whatever the heck happened to Ricky. Because if I admit that there's a demon in his house, that's legitimately scary, man.
Yeah.
Like, you have no power over spirits, or like, humans don't like that.
Right.
But at the same time, we love stories.
Yeah, I mean, I love anything that makes people go, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's just that.
Well, see, and that's kind of going back to the beginning of our little conversation. My gem, call it a cult, call it whatever else, but mythologies, occultism, and Templar.
Yeah.
I mean, you get me going down history and stuff like that, and origin stories. Like, you are going to 100% have my attention. And you're not going to know. Like, okay, you have the Christian mythos that on how we start creationism.
Yep.
And then the Japanese look at you and be like, what you talking about? We're on the back of a turtle.
Yeah.
And like Hindus, or not Hindus, the Buddhists come out with, what you talking about? Dragons made us, which are arguably getting picked up by the UFO community and saying UFOs.
Yeah.
Which Nephilim versus Watchers versus, again, I'm going to botch the planet that keeps revolving that, came down from the Sons of the Fallen. Like, sorry, I shouldn't have mentioned that name. We're wrong. Allegedly. I mean, again, they tie into each other and how we're created and this, that, the other. There's so many out there, not flat earthers. Sorry for the listeners that are, but again, you want to call in, set up a chat with us. I will gladly talk to anyone in our community about any story. But flat earthers,
But believe me,
this is where I draw the line, man.
you will never convince me, the same as I will never convince you that it isn't.
But that's also the great thing about our community. I'm never going to be able to prove to you. You're never going to be able to disprove to me. And we leave it at that. We don't fight. We don't. Oh, man, it's so great.
Right, because everybody has a story to tell.
Right.
Just don't be a caring about it.
Yeah, no.
And, like, even in the conspiracy theory communities, people will pop up with some out there stuff, like 5G created COVID. And some people will be like, man, you don't have the information to make me believe you. They don't dog each other. They don't do this, that. They're respectful.
Yeah.
Even when calling someone insane, they're respectful,
Right.
which is amazing. But then you talk modern day politics or anything else, world blows up.
Yeah.
Like, the conspiracy community can get together and have each other's backs. The haunted community can get to each other and say, oh, that's a really cool story, but I'm going to have more information. But the rest of the world's like...
The simple fact that you can't even live... People in your own country can't get along. You know what I mean?
Like, hey, we could talk about ghost stories all day, and I got you back. You would talk about who's supposed to run the world? Nope.
Right.
Come on, what the heck, man? Like, which just... We are such a better community. I love you guys for that. Like,
Absolutely, man.
and... again, let's go. You talk religion.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're wrong. I'm right. But then, hey, let's talk about some of our theories behind the start of the world. Some, watchers, all this, that, the other. Oh yeah, let's talk all day.
Right.
Civilized.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, you would think it'd be a lot less civilized.
And I can't wait until we talk about those two because, like, secret societies.
It's gonna get wild.
Oh, man, we keep bringing up, like, you guys, if you haven't looked into the Nephilim, the Watchers, Sons of the Fallen, and any of those, please do, because, man, they are good. Good stories.
Agreed.
And on that note, I think we've got a pretty good day today.
I think I might have to stand up and stretch.
Yay.
Yo, my back is trying to crack and it just ain't working.
So, thanks for stopping by. As always, I'm Ryan.
I'm Ricky.
Lefty.
Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and all your other podcast providers. Make sure to check us out next time, because I think we can't wait to dig into this Hunt-A-Killer box we got for the Blair Witch.
I love it.
Love it. Stay weird.